In this video, we want to talk about top 10 stars in the history of martial arts in cinema. Jet Li is a Chinese important and stylish actor. He did not start well, however, and his early films in the United States were ridiculed by audiences and critics. He also went to Hong Kong and continued his work there, but in the 90s he tried his luck again in the United States and finally got lucky and played with Mel Gibson in the movie Deadly Weapon 4 and his progress began. Maybe moviegoers expected a higher ranking for this stony American, but that's what it is. In the 9th place, we have Steven Seagal. Of course, for a long time we have seen Steven Seagal holding guns and shooting instead of participating in the official fight, but he who loved martial arts spent his entire training period in Japan with top art masters. In the late 80s, he finally opened his cinema to the dead, and with the film Beyond the Law, he was able to establish himself in Hollywood. Subscribe our YouTube channel to watch the rest of this video and more. Do you remember Landorgan, the same stubborn and violent Russian boxer who was Sylvester Stallone's opponent in Rocky IV? If you remember, you must have seen World Soldier alongside Jean-Claude Van Damme with his tall stature and formidable figure. Landorgan was a good choice for martial arts and action movies. During his heyday in the 1990s, critics hailed him as a serious rival to Jean-Claude Van Damme. This one star of his acting always surpasses his martial arts skills. Jimmy Wang Yu never pursued any of the martial arts professionally, but made a name for himself by starring in Uniform Swordsman, a landmark in Hong Kong martial arts cinema. He was the undisputed star of martial arts films in the 1970s, and his decline began with the arrival of Bruce Lee. It was expected that we would see the king of martial arts and cloning in higher ranks, but critics have no mercy. Honestly, those who like original and classic martial arts movies are not very happy with Jackie Chan's funny and fantasy fights. He is more of an acrobat than a fighter, but Jackie Chan has been and is a turning point in martial arts cinema. He showed for the first time that this violence and physical mobility can also be used to make the audience laugh. He also took hard effort to take the stage. In several films he was a black soldier, a beater and a stuntman of Bruce Lee, but with Shadow of the Eagle and Drunk Monkey he became famous all over the world and became a star. Rough, scary and strong as your heart desires. The first black man on this list is a successful filmmaker. Blade have been seen and liked by almost every film lovers in the world. Although Snipes began his career with action and martial arts films, he gradually became so good at acting that he won the Best Actor award at the Venice Film Festival for his film One on Relationship. He has played all kinds of roles and has been with the greatest actors in the Hollywood. You must remember him in Suburban Man with Sylvester Stallone. The second black man on this list has a collection of black belts from various martial arts disciplines. His limbs and rough face soon made a name for him. His specialty is acting in movies based on superhero comics and movies like Dark Knight and Black Dynamite. Michael Jai White rose to fame by starring in the Tyson series as Mike Tyson, the legendary boxer, and then steadily improved. Now his record is very wide and long. We have not seen him much in classic war movies. It is mostly present in violent and fantasy actions. It was too late to find out that Frankie, the famous Bloody Ring film, is a Belgian who has won all the medals and world awards and defeated 25 opponents in one match in 3 days and has only lost once in his full contact career. Jean-Claude Van Damme is now a big star with a lot of money-making and successful films. Of course, this money and success was not very pleasant for him. He became addicted to cocaine, and in difficult process of quitting drugs, his ability, face and body were severely damaged. Yet he is still one of the greatest martial artists in history. We haven't seen this famous star in movies for several years, but there was a time when he was proud of himself. He won 2 gold medals at the World Karate Championship and became famous for his role in Bruce Lee in The Dragon Path. Chuck Norris was the first choice when Hollywood set out to find American rivals for the pros of martial arts movies. He knew acting well and was a first-rate professional fighter. However, over time, with the decline of the success of martial arts films, he turned to action and detective films and shone in works such as Texas Sheriff. It is unlikely that anyone other than Bruce Lee at the top of the list was waiting for another name, the best of the best or the great boss, a man whose life and death made him a myth and something beyond an athlete or an actor. He is a symbol of a global culture. He always dreamed of acting and thought about his personal style and the combination of martial arts. Although Bruce Lee is often remembered in battle scenes, he was a man of thought and philosophy, an elite who exalts his body and soul together, and in his films has always been a symbol of the forces of good and the destroyer of the forces of evil. No one like him was ever been so successful in martial arts. Those screams close on the chest, penetrating gaze and strange fighting skills made him a real idol who named a special era in the world popular culture. Bruce Lee is the only martial arts star who never dies. Heroes of heroes.